Hello everybody and welcome to day 2 of Keegan's Favorite Things. I am so excited. Day 1 went really well. I got some really great feedback on that. Also, I wanted to thank you for your patience while I was trying to figure out how to create a site before the site. But now that we have everything together and you're able to check out in one cart, it's really easy. Just so you know, the coupon code is no more because it was working for some people and for some people it wasn't, and only on certain products, even though I said it was for everything. So I have just added the 10% discount on top of the normal discounts. You'll see that reflected in the new products that are uploaded to the site today. But if you just click shop now, once you go to the site link, just either copy and paste that into your browser or just directly click, the link that is on either the email or the Facebook post or the YouTube post. And yeah, just click it, just click shop now, and then you'll see all your products, add everything you want to the cart and the quantities, and check out. So there are some people that are waiting to check out. They're like adding things to their cart every day. My recommendation is, based off of all the orders that we've received so far, I have to do another order anyways. So if you want these things either to pick up on the 20th, which is what I'm assuming, if you are doing this program in person and not doing it virtually, I'm under the automatic assumption that you are going to pick it up on the 20th on the first class. Then otherwise it will be shipped this Saturday. And I only have so much product in this first shipment. I placed a second order yesterday that will definitely, the other order will be here tomorrow. And then the second order will be here Monday or Tuesday of next week. So just to make sure that you get what you want, I would check out every day, if that makes sense. So that way you're in a specific lineup of the product and you'll receive exactly what you want. So I think that covers all of the questions. It's really simplified now. It's not individual links, so just go to the site. Everything is uploaded there from day 1 and from day 2. But without further ado, let's talk about how to stay on the cutting edge with your quilting. So let's talk about how to stay on the cutting edge with your quilting. So there are some specific tools that I use in my individual sewing room that I would like to share with you. So first of all are these creative grid rulers. Let's talk about them. So I'm here at my cutting mat and I want to talk about the difference between creative grid rulers and a lot of the other rulers that are popular on the market. So OmniGrid and OmniGrip, which is made by the same company, are very, very popular, pretty cheap options that you can find mostly anywhere online and in person. And then the creative grid rulers. Instantly, what we're looking at is the difference between the lines. So I'm gonna kind of position these so that they're all three in the camera. But what I want you to notice is these lines where we're supposed to be lining up our material, and the lines that are on these rulers, they're very different, even between all the three different types. But what I want you to notice is that there's this black line, which is great, but also the yellow line that is surrounding, kind of giving a halo around the actual marking line. The black line represents on this ruler what the size actually is that we need to cut out. Same with the black lines on these ones, but these green and yellow halo lines are meant to kind of help you to be able to see the different marking distinctions. OmniGrid and OmniGrip have added recently a 1/2 inch marker just side, so you'd be able to cut halves and wholes just by flipping the ruler to the opposite side. Depending on if you were a righty or lefty, it would depend on which side that you flipped it to. But the interesting thing about this is that when you are trying to cut a piece of material, so if we were trying to cut this purple material right here, and we're not actually cutting it, but there is about a 16th to an 18th of 16th to an 1/8 of an inch of difference because you're like, okay, do I go at the beginning of the halo? I can't see through that line. If we go to this one right here, it's the same thing. I can kind of see a shadow of it, but like, am I really on the line or am I not? So I really don't like the Omnigrid rulers because of that reason. Because on here, you're able to physically see on a very thin line exactly where you're trying to line up. So if I was cutting 4 inches, I'm a righty, so I'm gonna cut with my right hand, and I would cut right here on the 4-inch line while that was on the 4 inches, or I'd flip it around to the half side where it automatically adds that 4, and then I have 4.5 very nicely visible. That's another difference between these rulers, is that these numbers are pretty small. I'm young, but I don't have the best vision, especially when I'm already frustrated that I have to cut. So I'm trying to make my life a lot easier for myself, but these numbers are really small, whereas these ones are really large. You'll always know that the black numbers that are going along the rulers, those ones are the half increments. So if you're seeing this side right side up, that means that you're cutting from the half side. If you see the white numbers right side up, that means you're cutting from the whole. But the nice thing is too, is it has these really great grips all along the ruler. Even the Omnigrip ruler, it doesn't have those grips. These kind of green guys right here, they actually don't have any grip to them. They don't slide as much, but you'll see that like even without pressing very much, I'm like moving the actual rotary cutter, whereas on this, I'm not really doing anything, especially when I'm on fabric. You'll see that the cutting mat is shifting even less. So I really like the grip that's installed in these. I highly recommend the 8.5 inch widths. This is a 9.5 inch square. I have all of my 8.5s at the studio, which I'm kind of frustrated about, but this one is a 9.5, so just imagine that the last inch is cut off on this guy. But I always use every day an 8.5 inch square and an 8.5 by 18 ruler. The reason why I use a square and a rectangle ruler in my studio is mainly because when I'm trying to clean up an edge on this material, there's no way to truly tell if I'm actually straight. Like I can line up my 1/4 inch of excess right here and cut, but then it won't be straight all the way down. What I'm going to show you is that even if we use this guy right here, do you see how it goes from little to a little bit bigger right there? What we're trying to do is create an even consistent line across the bottom, and then with our big ruler, cut off the excess so that we get a really true clean cut. I'm gonna be teaching that in that first class on the 20th. But suffice it to say, the Creative Grid rulers are really great for their thin lines, halves and whole sides that are easy to read, as well as the grip. So I highly recommend the 8.5 by 18.5, as well as the 8.5 inch square. Those are very versatile rulers for you to use in your sewing room for the entirety of this project. Next thing we're going to talk about is rotary cutters. Rotary cutters, there's a lot of different types out there, a lot of different types of blades, and everyone has their favorite. Olfa is kind of used to be the only game in town as far as good rotary cutters were concerned. They have both the slide versions, which a lot of people have. I don't particularly like those because I can bump myself into the table or just kind of bump myself and not remember that I closed the blade, and it will slice me. I've had that happen before. But these ones right here, they have a lock on them, which is nice for you to be able to squeeze and engage. So normally these guys, you have to put a lot of pressure with your index finger and press down into the cutting mat as you're going along. So you're leading with your index finger, and these don't have a lot of weight to them. A lot of people that have fibromyalgia and other grip issues, or just aren't as strong as they used to be, are having a lot of issue putting pressure onto the fabric. And even everybody, regardless of having issues with grip or pressure, I even have an issue where I go really strong at the beginning and then not at the end. And then I have this little gap at the end where I'm not doing anything. And that's frustrating. You have to do a double cut, and then sometimes you get shreds and it's not accurate and you have to redo it. So what I would recommend is this guy. So a lot of people that have taken my dollar building block programs before know this, but I absolutely adore this Creative Grids rotary cutter. So the difference between the two, this kind of looks like one of those push ones, but instead of a push one where you slide it up and down, it's still secured like this guy because he's embedded right here, and it has two different options, one for left and one for right. So, oh my gosh, you have an ambidextrous rotary cutter. You don't normally, you have to put the blade on one side or the other depending on if you're a righty or a lefty, but on this one you just either say, okay, I'm a lefty or I'm a righty. Still the same grip right here, but the nice thing about this is that this is has so much more weight to it. So I actually have my handy dandy kitchen scale right here. I'm gonna weigh this guy. This one weighs 3.77 ounces, okay? This guy weighs 9 1/4. So almost triple the weight, but it doesn't feel super weighty in your hand. But what it really does is it's a perfect weight for you to be able to travel completely across a measure of fabric without having any reduced pressure from the beginning to the end, so that you get more accurate and consistent cuts. This rotary cutter also comes with a lovely little case. You can use it for notions and other things like that, but it stores your little rotary cutter. Ta-da! You can store some other things in there like extra blades. Creative Grid now makes really, really attractively priced rotary blades that are the same exact carbide steel quality of the Olfa blades. Last just as long. They're really great. I've been testing them for a few months now since they've come out, and I absolutely love them. They are on the site as well on a discount in either a 2, 5, 10, 30, or 50 pack. If you sew and cut a lot, the larger packs of the blades are an exceptional value, but I would definitely pick up one of these rotary cutters if you either can't find a rotary cutter or don't like your rotary cutter, or you're having those problems like I was talking about. These are really, really great to be able to solve all those issues. And last but not least, I want to talk about rotary mats. So I'm really, really passionate about these mats right here. They're the mats actually made by Creative Grids as well. Creative Grids just makes a really, really great product. They have really bright, thin lines on here, and they're marked every 1/8 of an inch. The nice thing about these too is that they have those same exact large numbers printed in mirror image on the back as well as the front. So it really expands your opportunity to be able to cut from both sides of your larger rotary mats. The smaller ones don't have that. Then it has all of the different yardage increments listed on here. So if you're like, okay, what is 3/8 of a yard? Well, it's 13.5 inches right here. So it has those lines built in. There are 5 layers instead of 1 to 2 layers like Olfa or OmniGrid mats, and they last a long, long time. They're very heavy, so they don't shift around as much on you, and they're double-sided completely because they have all those markings on there for you to be able to either have some less distracting 1 inch by 1/2 inch lines with the 45 and 60 degree lines on there, or I typically use the other side to be able to truly see all the different increments and stuff while I'm on my mat. But I don't use my mat as a measuring tool. I use my mat as a cutting surface. And so I need that cutting surface, especially when I'm making a large investment into a cutting mat. These ones are actually less expensive on average versus the green Olfa mats that you would normally find. but I want it to last. I don't want to keep cutting in the same area and have it split and have the different markings and stuff in it. These ones are self-healing, but truly self-healing. With those 5 layers, it doesn't keep material inside of it. You're able to have a mat that lasts a lot longer with this 5-layer mat versus a normal mat. Additionally, with the lines that are on there, they're made to work perfectly with these rulers. And so you'll see that when I do you see how it like went completely black right there? They're the same size as the Creative Grid lines on these rulers. And so they completely disappear because and then that way you know you're exactly lined up, like perfect right there. So at least on this side, not so much. I'm trying to, oh, I have some flex right there, that's why. So trying to get on the camera just for kicks and giggles. There we go. See how all those lines disappear and then you go boop, you can see all of them. So that way you're really able to be even more accurate if you're doing something that is lined up in a different place instead of the bottom left-hand corner where all of the measurement starts and works out from there. So just as a little recap, what did we talk about today? We talked about rotary cutters. Love, love, love my Creative Grids weighted rotary cutter. It really, really helps me out being able to be consistent in all of my cutting, as well as my thin lined Creative Grid rulers. I'm highlighting the 8.5-inch square and the 8.5 by 18.5 in our store. We'll have all of the different sizes that are available, and down the road some specialty ones for diamonds and things like that as we go along in this program. But I love the grip on these as well as the thin lines and the easily readable numbers. And we also talked about replacement blades. Make sure that if you haven't, excuse me, if you haven't changed your blade in a while and it's feeling a little sticky, make sure to change those blades. That's one of the things that you can do to really, really help your accuracy. All the different sizes on the sale prices are on the site for those as well as the rotary mats. Now, I do want to talk about the cutting mats because a lot of people, I have already sold a lot of these too, but they have 2 brand new sizes. They have the 28 by 58 gigantic one, which I am super excited about. Can't wait to get that in my studio tomorrow. All the other people that pre-ordered those, great. They'll be on the way to you starting tomorrow, but I have 2 or 3 left. So please, if you want those, make sure to get on there on the pre-order price. The $195.99 for the large one is the pre-order price. And then additionally, they have a 14-inch square rotating mat. I cannot wait to show that to you tomorrow once I get my hands on it because it literally just came out today. So I'm so excited that they're already shipping it to me. But I want to show that off to you, but definitely jump on that. If you feel like you need a rotary mat that rotates, it's always really, really convenient. And then you have the great 5-layer weighted mat on there. So it's a really good, I've seen demonstration videos from professionals on it and I'm just really excited for that one. So all the sizes are listed on the site. The site will be posted in the description above or below, depending on where you're watching this video. But I am so excited for day 3 and we will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much.